I have meant to, I thought I did a lesson on this years ago. Obviously, I didn't. We're going to take a look at, this is, of course, Killing Me Softly. And we do have a lesson, an instrumental arrangement already up here by my friend Max, put that together for us a little while ago. But this one, I got asked recently about, hey, what did the guitar do at the very beginning of Roberta Flack's version of Killing Me Softly, which was, of course, not the original. We'll talk about that in a bit. So it was something similar to what I just did there. So we're going to talk about that. But this is mostly going to be geared towards an accompaniment version. We're going to start with just a strum through the chords and sing the song. Fairly basic. But then I also have a much more, a little more elaborate version of how I would accompany a singer doing this with a little bit more kind of like what you heard there, picking out the melody. Now, the melody I played right there was kind of a scat solo that Roberta Flack did in hers. I may address that a little bit later, not on the menu for today. But fascinating history of this song. This was, of course, officially written by Charles Fox and Norman Gimbel, but with a pretty major assist from a young singer-songwriter in her 20s, at about 20 at the time, Lori Lieberman. And of course, as you probably know some of the story, but it was inspired by notes she wrote down on a napkin after seeing Don MacLean and play at the Troubadour in LA in 1971. Fairly famous tune of his, Empty Chairs, kind of inspired her to write down some notes about what she thought about the arrangement, or what she thought about Don's playing. She did go to her mentors, kind of, Fox and Gimbel. Gimbel was a lyricist, and he took her notes and wrote lyrics that we're pretty familiar with now, that Charles Fox then added music to, and unfortunately Lori did not get songwriting credit for it until many, many years later. It's an ugly story, but she maintained a good attitude about it. So her version was fairly simple and basic, kind of just picking through the chords and singing the song. Roberta added a lot of jazzy touches and other things to it. So that's we're going to go more into Roberta's version, but that's talking enough about this song. Most of the, by the way, and Roberta's version is a half step higher than we're going to be doing it. I'm going to be in my tab for this. I put down capable of the first fret. That's if you want to play along with Roberta, just to put it a half step higher. But we're going to break down that little opening intro. Add a little percussion to it with some clicking and stuff like that, and then basically just go over the chord progression and to the two main parts. That's it. Coming up, a lesson on Killing Me Softly.